flow tonight. I welcome you all here, and we're going to get started on our backs and just coming right into Shavasana. So our goal there is to start and end, in the same way. So we'll come just to lay flat. Our theme for this evening's deep flow is kind of a blend. Mostly my goal is for us to have a very grounding practice, to invite in this time to slow down and breathe. So we'll be connecting to the earth element, which is associated with our base or root chakra, Muladhara, located at the base of the spine. So as we just allow ourselves to enjoy a little bit of stillness here, laying flat, I'll be coming around with just a blend of essential oils that are associated with our root chakra and are very earthy smelling. If you prefer not to have any scent, as part of your opening in a few moments, please just place one hand on your belly, and I'll just leave you in peace. If you're sensitive to smell or just are not wanting that at this time. As always, we just make this conscious arrival to our practice, to our mats, to this space. Beginning to breathe in your surroundings, this time, this space. To breathe out the events of your day. To breathe out any thoughts, distractions. be here and to continue cycling out what we do not need for our practice in this moment. Let's take one more round, wherever you are, one more full, slow cow pose and cat pose. After your next cat pose, we'll come back to child's pose, or into our first child's pose of the evening. Stretching your hips back to your heels, bring the big toes to touch, bring your knees out nice and wide, and let that forehead once again connect down into the space beneath you. And you can hold here if this is most comfortable. If it feels okay, maybe try reaching your arms out like a T. And your forehead can stay down. Hands and palms are connected to the floor beside your mat, so we're still very relaxed. You can also turn your right ear to the mat here, getting a little bit of a stretch for your neck. And also it's like we're just giving our mat a hug, right? This space that offers us so much awareness, growth, and transformation. Also giving the earth beneath our mat a hug in gratitude for all the nourishment it brings. We'll take one more breath here. If you are turned to one side, bring your left ear now to the mat to even out the stretch in your neck. Om. Lam. Let's reach those hands back out in front of us. Come back to tabletop pose, hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, stretch your legs long, and press back. And as we come into down dog, let's see if we can just be still to start and to notice what it's like to invite in some stillness in down dog. And just feeling, once again, your palms, your fingertips, the base of your knuckle and your thumb and index finger. Some space between your shoulders and your ears. Nice strong arms. Such a great stabilizing pose, connected in both hands and feet. This upside down V, this nice long spine. The muscular energy of your legs reach you back a little further. Let's take one more inhale here. And now walk your hands to the back of your mat. So we'll end up in a forward fold at the back of our mat. And you can choose here. Maybe it just feels good to keep your hands or fingertips connected. If you'd like to come into ragdoll, you can catch each opposite elbow and let that sort of gravity draw you down a little bit more. Feeling that release in the head, neck, and shoulders. And here, just sort of hang pleasantly heavy. Feel the release, the letting go. All that we usually carry around on our shoulders, the weight of our world. See if you can feel your skin in your face pleasantly heavy to the bone, the eyes resting deep into their sockets. Teeth slightly parted, the jaw is soft. Take one more inhale here. Let's bring our hands, if they are connected in ragdoll, back down. Bring your feet about hip width apart. And from here, just soften your knees. Put a little bend there. Feel the strength of your core, that low belly lock. Elephant pose. As we inhale, we stay rounded in the spine and we lift just up, maybe about halfway. See if you can feel the weight of your fingertips. And then we release fingertips back down to the mat, to the earth as we exhale. Head is heavy, face is soft. Inhale, stay rounded as we begin to lift, coming only about halfway up from the strength of our core and legs. Knees soft, face soft. Slowly, like a magnet, feel your fingertips connect back down to the earth below. Once more, as we inhale, Om, we stay rounded and feel this rise. Lam. Magnetically, we connect back
time we'll roll all the way up to standing mountain pose. Taking your time, moving as slowly as you are able. Feeling that relationship to space, the heaviness of your arms, fingers, the head, the face is soft. And from the strength of our core, we begin to stack all of our joints, our vertebrae, and we arrive in Tadasana. With eyes closed, picking up the toes, and then spread them out so you can feel the base of your big toe knuckle all the way across to your pinky toe, four corners of your feet. And imagine you are squeezing a block between your thighs to engage the legs. Lengthen your tail down. As you lift the pelvic floor, draw your low belly back towards your spine to lock in the energy and awareness right at our lowest chakras. Shoulders stay down the back. The crown of the head maybe reaches just a little bit taller with your next breath in. And just feeling your breath move all the way down, all the way through the soles of your feet. Begin to imagine roots beneath your feet that connect us to the earth below. And with each inhale, we draw up what nourishes us. We feel that rise of breath move all the way up. And as we exhale, feel that downward flow all the way through the soles of the feet, releasing what we do not need, dissolving it into the earth below. Apana pranayama. Inhale, draw up from these roots connected to the earth below, all that nourishes us, grounds us, stabilizes us. And breathe out, full body breath, all the way through the soles of your feet. Toxins. Anything that feels stagnant, stuck, unsure. Let's take one more breath in here with this awareness. Feel that rise of breath from the earth below, connecting to your root chakra, moving all the way up to the crown of the head. And that slow exhale into fingertips, all the way into the toes and through the soles of the feet. Let's reach our hands up overhead, extended Tadasana. Palms face one another, spread out the fingers. We continue just to stand tall. And now let's interlace fingers above head and just point your index fingers up. Take another breath in here, no tension in the upper body. Strong in the legs. Let's shift over to the right for standing half moon. Legs stay strong and the weight is equal in the feet. Maybe a slight twist now as we gaze under the left arm. And no tension in the shoulders or the face. Take one more breath in. And slowly let's come back to center. And just keeping hands interlaced, just rest with hands at heart center. Tuck your chin into your chest. Take a breath here right from your center. Om. Lam. Reach your hands back up for the sky. Fingers interlaced, pointer fingers extended up. And now we'll stretch over towards the left. We're standing half moon, legs strong, tail tucked down. Imagine you're squeezing your block. And a slight twist, and be gazing under that right arm. Breathing into the whole right side of the body for one more breath in. And coming back through center. Let's interlace fingers behind the low back. And then inhale, lift through your heart. Maybe the gaze floats up. And let's fold back forward, soften your knees with the bind, hinge from the hips. And release, let the head drop. Inhale. Exhale, releasing hands back down to the mat. We're going to walk ourselves forward to a modified plank. So walk your hands forward. We'll start in plank. And then gently connect your knees to the mat. So the knees connect behind the hips for modified plank. And we'll just pause here. Bring your awareness to your core, the strength of your core. So just kind of hold here in modified plank. Maybe the eyes are closed. Feeling your palms connected, arms strong. Take another breath in here. On your next inhale, come forward and all the way down as you exhale. Hands reach back by your side. Locust pose. Stand with hands apart or hands interlaced. Lift your head and shoulders.
shoulders. Maybe the feet flow up. If that feels okay in the low back, maybe the palms float up, whether they're apart or fingers interlaced. Palms are face down if they're apart. Yeah. Feel your crown of your head reach forward. Now really energize the legs and see if you can get a little bit more lift. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. Gazing right down in front of your mat. Find your belly lock. Mula Bandha, lift the pelvic floor. Spread out the toes and fingers if they're not interlaced. Take one more breath in and release, right ear to the mat. And feel your whole body soften. Ankles kind of roll out, shoulders roll out. And we just feel that release and that letting go into the space beneath you. Take one more breath in here. Bringing forehead back to center. This time, for locust variation, reach your arms out in front of you, like a superhero pose, as if we're flying. And then on your next breath in, lift up, head, shoulders, arms. If it feels okay in the low back, the feet lift. And gazing right in front or down in front of you, so the neck is relaxed and long. Fire up the legs, see if you can get some more lift. Spread out the toes, spread out the fingers. See if you can find a low belly lock. Even here, draw that low belly sort of up towards your spine. Mula Bandha, lift the pelvic floor. And release and let it feel good. And keep your hands out in front of you or draw them back down by your hips. Turning to the other cheek. Releasing. Inhaling. Exhaling. We'll do one more back bend. You can repeat either variation of locust pose, or we'll come into bow pose, Dhanurasana. Bend the knees, reach back, grab a hold of the top of your feet, or if you can grab your ankles and flex your toes. And then our next breath in, we'll lift up for bow or locust pose. Begin to breathe, especially your bow pose. Breathe from the belly, expansive breath so much that you might just gently rock a little bit forward and back. Just feeling that massage for the digestive organs, that connection to the whole belly into the mat below. Take one more breath in. Without slingshotting, let's release back to a child's pose. Let your feet connect back down, stretch your hips back to your heels. Now for this variation of child's pose, let's maybe explore bringing our knees together and hands stretch back and kind of cup the feet. Forehead again connects down to the mat. A little bit more of a stretch for the rounding of the spine and the upper back. Your arms are just kind of heavy, shoulders relaxed. Now you can stay here if you would like to come into rabbit pose. You will grab onto your heels with your hands, and we're going to lift our hips off of our heels, keeping the forehead tucked into the knees. And you're pulling your hands into your heels so that there's very little weight in the top of your head. And it's a really nice rounding of the spine. Yeah, that's it, just as you are. We'll take one more inhale here and lower the hips. Coming back to child's pose, and let's walk ourselves forward. Hands and knees, tabletop pose, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, stretch back. Again, settle into some stillness here in down dog. Om. Lam. Bring your feet to touch. Reach your right leg to the sky. Three-legged down dog. Flex your right toes down. Press that right heel as if someone was pressing their hand into it. You are pressing back to create that sort of resistance. Arms stay strong. Head stays heavy. Let's take one more breath in here. Coming into a modified side plank. Connect your right knee right to the middle of your mat and pivot your left foot down to the mat. Right hand places under the nose, under the shoulder, and the left arm reaches for the sky. For modified Vashisthasana, side plank with the right knee down. Yeah. Again, just mindful that our shoulders stack directly over the wrist. Spread out the fingers in your left hand
And now maybe begin to reach that left hand towards the front door, perhaps gazing under your left arm as you press firmly through that right arm into your palm and fingertips. Take one more breath in. From here we'll come into gate pose. We're going to stay as we are. We're going to lift up and bring the right hand to the back leg. Left arm now reaches up to the sky. You can also turn your right foot a little bit out behind you. And so now the left arm is reaching, and now we're just getting a nice stretch. Sorry, right arm. Left arm is down the back leg. So feel your right hand reach back. Left hand supported on that back leg. Take one more breath here, and let's cartwheel hands down to the mat and step back downward facing dog. Very nice. Take a moment to just settle back in here. To notice where you are. The effects of the slower practice. Just slowing down. Just mindfully feeling this connection to our space below. So we'll repeat that on the left side. Reach your left leg to the sky. Feet touch first, and then reach the left leg long. Three-legged down dog. Reaching through that left heel. Toes flex down. And imagine someone's just gently pressing into your left heel. You are pressing right back into their hand. The head is heavy. Face stays soft. Let's take one more inhale here. Modified side plank. Bring your left knee down to the mat, right in the middle of your mat, under your hip. Pivot the right heel down. Left hand stays down under the shoulder. And now the right arm reaches. So you let that left knee just be a very stabilizing effect here in your modified side plank. And you can stay here, begin to reach that right arm towards the front door. Maybe even gazing under that right arm. Staying really connected through that right foot. The right leg is strong. Staying connected through that left arm, nice and strong. Take one more breath in. We'll come up to our gate pose. We'll just lift up. Now the right hand just connects down the back leg, and the left arm reaches up and over. Now just opening up the whole left side of the body, staying strong in the legs, feeling that reach and that extension for one more breath in, and cartwheeling hands down to the mat, downward facing dog, step back, and just settle in here, and just notice. Let's take one more inhale here. One more exhale. This time let's bend our knees and look forward. You can step or you can jump to the top of your mat. Coming back to a forward fold. We'll take a halfway lift from here. Press your hands against your shins or fingertips to the mat. And we'll pause here. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your thighs. Legs are strong and engaged. Mula Bandha, lift the pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, that low belly lock. And as the hands gently press against the shins, the crown of the head reaches forward. Taking one more breath in, and then feel the release as you soften the knees. Bring the hands back down to the mat and feel the head drop. On our next inhale, sweep your hands all the way up to the sky, growing tall, extended Tadasana. And draw your right knee up into your chest, interlacing fingers in front of your right shin, or you can hold on underneath your right thigh. Now just feel strong and grounded in that left sort of standing leg, four corners of your left foot, spine nice and long, and squeezing that knee in, finding one spot for your gaze. One more inhale here. We'll come right into tree, so we can just place that right foot to the inside of the left leg, and the inner thigh, or down below. And to begin, let's just leave hands down by our hips, almost like we were standing in mountain pose. Now you can also opt for a kickstand, sort of leg variation. So with palms by our hips, and shoulders drawing down the back, standing tall as if both feet were just grounded and connected. Letting that right knee and hip open. Now you can stay here or interlace your fingers, press your palms down towards the earth, and then reach forward and up, or just a variation of tree pose. Maybe the gaze floats up. Or you can even try closing your eyes for added knowledge. Feeling this connection of being grounded below, but now this extension and reach with this infinite above. Taking one more inhale, and nice and easy, we'll just come back into mountain pose. Take a moment, maybe with eyes closed, to just feel balanced on both feet, letting go of any frustrations that come up with balance, just noticing, inviting in that awareness, staying grounded and connected to breath. Let's reach our hands back up overhead, extended Tadasana, spread out the fingers, and now draw your left knee up into your chest. You can also hold on underneath the left thigh. Maybe that knee just stays about hip level, or you can draw that left knee up into your chest, interlacing fingers in front of your left shin. Ground down through that right leg. Keep breathing tall, nice long spine. Taking one more inhale, and lightly we'll just place that foot into tree pose, either to the inner thigh above the knee of the right leg, or you can come down to the calf or kickstand. We'll begin with hands by our hips, spreading out the fingers, and just inviting in the essence of Tadasana here on one leg, and just noticing the experience. Option to stay here, or once again interlacing fingers. Maybe switch the fingers so it feels a little bit awkward in terms of which thumb and pinky is in front. Reach down, press, and then lift up towards the sky. And we just feel now that length, that connection below, all the way through the sole of the right foot, and now this reach to the sky above. Notice any tension if it's crept into the pose, and notice your breath. See if you can feel that upward movement all the way up with your next inhale. And we'll release as we exhale, connecting back down, mountain pose. And let's reach hands up for the sky, extended Tadasana, and let's fold, Uttanasana, hinge from the hips, soften the knees, release down, forward fold. Halfway lift for one breath. Inhale, breathe your side body long, strong legs, and fold back down. Downward facing dog. We'll step back one foot at a time. Let's reach your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and stack open your hips. Just peeling that right hip open. Flare out the right toes. Imagine you're pressing your right foot into a wall beside you. Take one more breath in here. And then straight back, three-legged down dog. We'll come into half pigeon pose. Right knee connects to the mat, right behind the right wrist, near the right edge of your mat. The left leg straightens behind the left hip. Bothers the knee at all, and then please roll to your back. And then come down to your elbows, come down to your forehead, and find rest here. Come back to stillness. Whether we are in our figure four stretch on our back, or whether we are in half pigeon pose, just notice the experience of being still here. Notice where the mind goes. Also notice if any tension is crept in, again to the shoulders and the face and the neck, and consciously release, soften, let go. So a silent chant of Om, Lam, each inhale, each exhale. An act of surrender as we just fold once again, sort of into ourselves, into the space beneath us. Let's take one more breath in here. We'll lift ourselves up. Let's roll over onto that right hip or give a block. You can set it aside. We're going to swing our left leg forward, coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, joining the soles of the feet, knees open out wide. And we can hold on here to our ankles or shins, or if you'd like to interlace fingers underneath the feet or kind of thread your fingers through your toes, wherever you can just feel a nice solid connection. I'll begin with a nice tall spine. And invite in Mula Bandha, lifting the pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, low belly lock. Nice tall spine. Your next inhale, just feel that rise of breath, nice and tall. See if you can just feel your breath move back down to your bandha, your locks. And you can stay upright here, or if you would like to, begin to lean forward without rounding through the spine, keeping the spine nice and long, maintaining the engagement of your bandhas, and just feeling your breath, and just that upward movement, that downward movement. Awareness at the base of our spine. Muladhara chakra. Om. Lam. Let's take one more breath in here. And slowly we'll release from the posture and make our way back to a downward facing dog. However you'd like to get there. Maybe crossing at the ankles, kind of rolling forward to plant the hands. Or you can roll over to one side through tabletop, hands and knees. And give yourself the time and space here to kind of move in your down dog, however feels good at this point. No rights or wrongs. Just kind of working out, feeling a release, noticing if there's any difference between your two sides. And then from our downward facing dog, reaching the left leg up. Let's bend the knee and stack open the hips. Really flex through your left toes. Imagine you're pressing your left foot into a solid wall right next to your mat. Taking one more inhale here. And then stretch back, three-legged down dog into half pigeon pose, or opting for a figure four stretch on your back. Half pigeon pose does not feel safe for your knee, or just does not feel good. Just kind of set up the pose, find your alignment, that nice straight leg and ankle and the leg, the right leg behind the hip, keeping the left toes flexed up towards the knee, hips nice and square, elbows, forehead connect down to the mat or a block. We invite in our witness and to notice the choices we make in our practice, especially in poses with hip openers like this where we hold. If we feel resistance in our body, we have a choice. We may not have control over this resistance, but we have the choice to breathe mindfully and deeply. The choice of inviting in mantra repetition. And the choice to surrender into what we find and just raise this awareness of what we carry here in our body. And we soften where we are able. one more breath here. Deep awareness. And after your exhale, we'll release by lifting up, rolling over onto that left side, and gently bringing the right leg forward. This time we'll come into Dandasana staff pose, extending both legs long. We're going to plant our hands right down into the mat beside our hips, feeling this strong connection beneath us. Legs are engaged, pressing through the heels, squeezing legs together. Heels might even slightly lift. Palms pressing firmly down into the space. Mula Bandha, lift your pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, low belly draws back towards the spine. Shoulder heads press back, and crown of the head reaches a little taller. No tension in the face. Om. Lam. And now reach your hands up overhead. On your next inhale, Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Hinge from the hips, reach forward. Having a little bit of pulse here to begin. With your inhale, lift up so you have a nice long spine. On the exhale, just soften, round, tuck your chin into your chest. Again, inhale, Om, spine lengthens, feel that reach through the crown of the head. And folding, rounding, tucking chin into the chest. Once more, inhale, Om, that extension, that rise, that lift. Lam. We'll hold here, just surrender into your seated forward fold. Relaxing the shoulders and the face. Feeling your breath in the whole back side of the body, backs of the legs. Let's take one more breath in here. And then lifting up. Let's roll down to our backs. First, reaching arms out in front of you. Make this slow, mindful descent down. Use the strength of your core to lower down, feeling one vertebrae at a time. Coming back down to our backs, where we started, and just notice how it feels. Notice, again, this pleasant heaviness. We'll move into a supported bridge from here. So option to use one or two blocks. We'll bend the knees and place the soles of the feet on the mat. We're going to grab our blocks, and you're welcome, tuck them under your sacrum, right where the tailbone meets the low back. And you can try one block, and it can be turned to any setting. Or sometimes it's nice if you have two blocks to stack them if you have the room. Both on their lowest setting, it creates a nice solid base right underneath that low back. If you'd like a second block, let me know. One block also works. And you can kind of adjust where that block is. Again, it should feel very much like a support underneath you, so we're not back bending over the block. It's very low. Using the support of the block allows us to find maybe just a new experience with bridge pose. And let your block be an extension. The mat below, the earth below. Moving into both a back bend and inversion here. Our head beneath our heart. Maybe the eyes close. Just gently press into your big toe mounds. Just feeling that connection at that point in your body. Maybe the palms just gently press down, or they can be face up. You can feel the backs of the hands. Just very gently feeling that connection without sending too much energy through the palms of the hands or the backs of the hands. into Shavasana. You can lift up, set your block aside. If there are any last movements to help you settle into your final resting pose. And if you feel ready for Shavasana, we'll extend our legs out long, turn your feet out to the corners of the mat, and your arms rest at your side, like taking up some space. If anything's touching you, just gently move it aside. Once again, I'll be coming around this time with a Shavasana essential oil blend. If you prefer that I do not integrate, the scent or touch into your resting pose, please place one hand on your heart or belly as a cue. Allow yourself now to practice total surrender, feeling that support of the space beneath you, to hold the space for you, your own sort of sanctuary. This very sacred time.
space around you, underneath you, within you. Begin to reawaken the body. Maybe wiggling toes or fingers, or even stretching arms up overhead like you're yawning your body awake for the first time today after a deep, restful sleep. Drawing knees into the chest, we'll roll over to our left side into a fetal-like pose. Ourselves back up to a cross-legged seat, maybe keeping the eyes closed or a soft gaze. This time we'll bring our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, feeling the thumbs connect right at the breastbone at heart center, gently pressing the palms together, tucking your chin into your chest. Our witness of our experience, the effects of our practice. We seal in our practice as well as our intention to maintain this essence of balance and feeling grounded and that are connected to our center by chanting the sound vibration of Om very softly, one time together, inhaling. Soft vibration can continue to silently chant and vibrate at our heart center, feeling its energy permeate bright, warm light throughout every fiber, every cell of your being, carrying this with us off our mats, out into our evenings. We draw our thumbs up to third eye center, connecting here to our inner teacher, at our seat of wisdom and intuition. We close with our salutation. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. As we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Always my pleasure to guide your practice. I look forward to maybe seeing you at Deep Flow next week. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a wonderful night and take your time.